Welcome to our geopolitical flash. This time we are going to speak about Saudi Arabia and the oil addiction. About 10 years ago, a young Mohammed bin Salman promised to transform Saudi Arabia, and he said the kingdom would overcome its long-standing addiction to oil and build a more modern, diversified economy. In some ways, the country has really changed. Saudi society has gone through major shifts. Women, they were once banned from driving, now they are active in many parts of the workforce, from retail to finance. The religious police, which once was a powerful presence in everyday life, have almost disappeared. Saudi citizens, they have also moved into many lower paid jobs that were previously done mainly by foreign workers. So the kingdom has changed socially and economically. But on one crucial point, Saudi Arabia has not broken with the past. It still depends heavily on oil. And this is the central contradiction. When oil prices rose sharply in the years 2021 and 2022, the Saudi government suddenly had more money to spend. That period saw the launch of highly ambitious projects, a ski resort in the mountains, in the desert, a giant cube-shaped skyscraper in Riyadh, a new global golf league, and many others initiatives linked to the Prince vision of a new Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia Vision 2030, that the name of the big project. But when oil prices fell again, the limits became obvious. Government finances, they came under pressure, and officials were forced to review priorities. Some projects were delayed, others have been scaled back, and some may never be completed. In other words, Saudi Arabia grand development strategy still rises and falls with the price of oil. This problem became even more visible during the recent war involving Iran, Israel, and the United States. Regional tensions, they have disrupted oil exports through the Strait of Hormuz and increased the military risks for the kingdom, including missile and drone attacks, as we can see from the news. That instability has added more pressure to an already difficult economic moment. So the officials have now started using a different language. The key word is no longer expansion, it is efficiency. The country's sovereign wealth fund, once one of the largest in the world, has announced that future investments will be judged more carefully. Officials, they say that they now want to focus on what is essential while postponing or dropping projects that are less necessary. This sounds technical, I know, but politically, it's very important. It suggests that Saudi Arabia is entering a more cautious phase. The dream of transforming the kingdom has not disappeared, but the government is being forced to admit that ambition must deal with financial reality. This marks a broader change in Mohammed bin Salman's leadership style. In his early years, he presented himself almost like a disruptive entrepreneur, someone ready to move fast and reshape the country through bold decisions. That approach produced dramatic reforms, but also serious failures and controversies, like the war in Yemen. More recently, his image has become more pragmatic. He now speaks less about disruption and more about adjustment, reassessment, and national interest. Supporters see this as maturity. They argue that it's normal for a government to revise projects when conditions change. Critics, however, see a different problem: the lack of transparency. They ask why unrealistic projects were announced in the first place, how much public money has already been spent, and who will be held accountable if these projects are abandoned. In places such as Neom, entire communities have already been displaced for plans whose final shape remains uncertain. And this leads us to the deeper geopolitical point. Saudi Arabia has changed, yes, but it has not escaped the logic of oil. The kingdom has introduced new taxes and fees, and it has tried to diversify its economy. Yet, its spending power, political confidence, and development strategy still depend heavily on energy revenues. That means that oil is not just an economic resource. It remains the foundation of political power, state planning, and regional influence. Saudi Arabia may be more modern than it was 10 years ago, yeah. It may also be more flexible in the way it manages its ambitions. But the basic reality remains. As long as the state depends on oil income to fund its transformation, the kingdom is not fully post oil. It's simply trying to modernize while still standing on the same old foundation. And that is the real geopolitical lesson. In Saudi Arabia, change is visible, but oil still sets the limits.